coffee. We are back for Speedrun Ragnarok 2024. We've got Shantae and the Pirate's Curse up next. And we are raising money for Take This. After Shantae is Backpack Hero, so please get your donations in for the costume incentive. All right, we'll let the runners take over. Runner and commentator, I mean.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. My name is Rakodactylus, or Rakodactylus. Either pronunciation is fine. And I will be running Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, any % pirate mode out of bounds. And I am joined today by the wonderful Turkey on commentary.
Yep, I'm TK Ryan. As you say, commonly known as Turkey. I've been running this game for far too long now, and just here to assist him in both commentary and, for whatever reason, be his good luck charm. So, all the best to you, sir. May the RNG be with you.
Thank you so much. Time will start when I hit enter on pirate mode, so I'll count down from 5, and then we can get started. Unless there's anything else you need to do beforehand. So, all right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Off we go. Welcome to Poliska. So this is actually the third game in the series, out of 5 currently. A little bit of story, pretty much Risky succeeded a little bit in the last game, successfully took Shantae's powers, so she's actually a full human in this game, so takes a bit of a different approach to how the rest of the series generally works. So we're using the Pirate Master's equipment, which is, we get to trade away, simply because of this game version, new game plus Pirate mode. One of the main aspects of it is the dash that we have here is going to be allow us to pretty much maneuver fast forward quite a lot, and as you go through here, this is just pretty much the opening. Pretty much a little tutorial bit, how to get, well, navigate and maneuver. You're going to use all of the abilities to an advantage. One of the main bits of tech we're going to use throughout the course of Upper Speed is what's known as the risky boots, or the risky shuffle. This technique allows us to actually reach a dash in much shorter distances than we're supposed to by using left on one direction and right on the other control scheme from directional feedback to analog. This is going to allow us to basically keep a continuous chain to be able to trigger the dash. So other than that, there's not really much going on here, so we're going to just give you a little brief rundown of the process we're going to come up to. Pretty much our first RNG hurdle, the ammo barrel. Yep, the ammo barrel. You can do one of 3 things. You can charge it, you can shoot off a red cannonball, or you shoot off a standard cannonball. You don't see the red cannonball to be able to do damage. Little tricks we know is you can only do 4 charges in any given round, and you can only do 2 standard cannons in any round. On top of that, if he does happen to use a cannon shot, he will not do a charge for that round. So, okay, let's see how you go.
Yeah. Also, I'm seeing in chat that you're a little quiet, so actually after the fight, I'm going to pause and lower the game's volume a little bit. Just so you're a little bit more audible over the game. Thank you very much for that, chat.
Alright, well, no charges on round 2 at least. So as we go to round 3, if he's done enough damage, there will be guaranteed no charges, and he'll just go straight into cannon shots, and hopefully we just get a red one, and that'll be ammo barrel done.
Oops. Let's do this. Let's just lower everything a bit. There we go. Hopefully, commentary will be a little bit more audible now. Oh, turkey turned up versus game turned down. Let me do that then. Let's do that in Discord. There we go. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know.
I mean, I know I don't like to be a good luck charm because the RNG you keep getting in the game, but I didn't think my RNG would actually cost you time by volume.
No.
Sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good. Yeah, so of all the games that I speedrun, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse audio gives me more trouble than anything else. It's one of the hardest for me to get balance and everything properly. I don't understand technology, much less audio technology, and Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is the one that just gives me the most trouble, so...
So onwards we go. We give shout-outs to Traptub. Turns out Shantae doesn't own a bathtub. So, yeah, she got caught out. This is where we get introduced to Risky Boots. She's pretty much one of the main antagonists throughout the series. But on this occasion, she's wondering where her men have gone. And we found out one of them is in this glass jar. The Dark Matter coming around as the Dark Magic, seen as a sign of the Pirate Master, one of Risky Boots' old bosses and mentors, returning back to the land. So it'll be a bit of a reluctant team up to figure out what's going on. So this is one of 20 tackle bats. As this is 80%, we're only going to be taking this one out as it's mandatory for the story. Using the risky boot, use the risky shuffle, which unfortunately is wrong. And down we'll go in a base.
Yeah, that was weird. I've been failing the risky shuffle today.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. We got rest of the run to go. So. Okay, so now that's done. The well's going to start. The game's going to start to open up, and well, first things first. It can't quite get out of town just by walking out. Unfortunately, we need two requisite aspects. First, we need a library card, and the game will force us to save as well. Yeah, it's very important to from way forward knows that you take it safe on your journey out. Fortunately, it's the only mandatory save of the run. So any others will be shame on Rocco.
Yeah, I will be taking actually quite a few safety saves just because one of the things about the tricks in the out-of-bounds categories is that if you mess them up, you actually do soft-lock the game. So while I don't mess them up often, I do still mess them up more than 0 times, and so better safe than sorry.
Yeah, that is very true indeed.
Let me know when we have a moment to read a donation, please.
Oh, sure thing.
Yep. Yeah, to be fair, I don't think this will be a good time, actually.
All right, we've got thank you so much, $300 from Space Narc with the comment, loving hair as a weapon block. And with $300 donated, that gets us over the 4,500 threshold, and we're now about $295 away from $5,000 raised. So let's see if we can get $5,000 before the night's out. So thank you once again, we really appreciate it.
Space Narc is just an amazing person, but also another terrific runner of this game. So thank you so much for that, Space Narc.
Very much so, appreciate that support. So the little bit of tech he's actually going to be doing in here, the aim is he's trying to get a number of flesh pops that he needs. He's free to actually advance the story, but he was hoping for at least another 4 minimum. We need stuff like food to actually perform the out-of-bounds tricks in the run. And with some of these snakes, what he's actually doing is getting himself trapped between himself and the ceiling. This is actually causing him to do a multi-kill, which is going to give him at least 3 opportunities at getting a 50-50 shot of a flesh pop drop. Gives him more odds of being able to get the items he's looking for. Fortunately, we won't be seeing the food tricks until a little bit later. We'll be using something else for the early game out-of-bounds run. He's just setting up a couple of bits for later as well to save some backtracking time as we get the rail gate key and we can make our way and go and get the map to enter the first island of this area. And first, bit of squid oil. There we go. So again, just getting a little bit of item management sorted for later in the run because fortunately with the new Game Plus we're able to trigger a couple of things earlier than intended. So at least he doesn't have. It gives him less backtracking he has to worry about as we go through. Okay. Gem count's looking good there, bro.
So far, so good.
Unfortunately, no early flare, which is it is a nice little time save, but it can be a little risky on your financial aspects. So you don't have to worry about that for now. We'll get a bit more back, a little bit more of a run back. Hopefully, we might get a few more drops on. Might get a couple of drops on the way back, which could be useful. Fortunately, item management at this stage of the run isn't as valuable or as important compared to what's going to come up more into the mid game, where that kind of side of things is going to be taking much more of an impactful aspect to the run.
Yeah, in this game, relative to the other Shantae games, she's not using any magic powers, because in this game she does not have magic anymore, so any sort of special abilities or aid that we use for defensive or offensive purposes is going to come from sort of non-magical items that we're going to be picking up that can boost her attack or can supplement her attack by sort of surrounding her in a shield of spikes, essentially.
Just return the library card, and she's kind enough to give us 100 cash.
And canonically, this game's money is called money.
Money's to be sure.
So despite the fact that they look like gems, they are money.
It is indeed. So we've got a few things there. So we've got a couple of potions, which is going to start using pretty much straight away, which we'll start talking about in a moment, for out-of-bound trickery. Pirate Flares allows him to return back to the beginning of an island that saves a lot on backtracking, and the Super Pipe Ball is actually going to be saved for a boss that's going to be coming up in the next dungeon, not this one. It becomes a very useful tool for that. More on that later. So for now, he's just going to make his way across to the right. He's going to go straight for the Den of Evil. So what's going to happen is he's basically going to enter the screen. He's going to perform a risky dash and go straight back out into the transition zone. Once he's in transition, he's going to trigger a food item, or in this case, a potion item. This is going to force some weird thing that's going to happen in the game. It's going to deload the areas but keep himself active. As a result of this, the loading zone for this Den of Evil is through the floor to the right, and he can just fall through and go straight into the Den of Evil. As mentioned earlier, if he happens to go too far out the boundaries or falls too far down the boundaries, it may become unrecoverable, and as such, the game becomes soft-locked, and that will be GG from there. So, as I mentioned, you take a few safety saves in case that could happen. So, you're going to do another one here. This is basically just going to save him to go pick up a key, as he can use the phase out and the deloading of the screens to just literally go phase through the door, hit the loading zone, and he's all good. I don't know if you're going to be going for this next one, Rocco.
For Wetman Skip? Yeah, might as well.
Ah, cool. Yeah, that's a Wetman Skip involves using the auto potion, which can be used as a decent safe now, especially for marathons. But he's going to go for it. So this one's a little bit different. This one is actually, because it's an auto-lock room, he needs to start the dash in the room prior. And as he's dashing into the next screen, he's going to trigger his auto potion, which will act just the same as using a deloading food. And he can just bypass the room like that, just saving the entire battle sequence. Nicely done. And now we get to this boss's Den of Evil. So we go for the den here to try and lock out the dark magic from the Signs of the Pipe Master returning, as mentioned before. So this opening boss is Cyclops Plant. Now Cyclops Plant is traditionally, there's going to be a couple of eyeball switches that appear on the side. You're supposed to hit them. That will raise these floor platforms that you can use to basically start shooting from the side. That's going to take too long, so we're just going to pincer in. So unfortunately, because again, like with the snacks being caught up in the top part of the ceiling, that scimitar acts like a buzzsaw. We use the timing of the music here to time when he's going to jump up. He's going to try and time it up with the eyeball to effectively get himself pincered into between him and the ceiling to be able to do that buzzsaw effect again, effectively ending the fight much quicker than intended. And nicely performed. We're off to a good start.
And now, unfortunately, we are moving into a point of the game where all of the other Shantae runners who are, like, in chat or even commenting on the game right now are just going to sort of mysteriously go take a break for about 5 minutes or so. It's the weirdest thing that happens in Shantae. They just all mysteriously disappear for about 5 minutes.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I mean, I'll put someone at my door. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we are about to enter a sort of infamous part of the game speedrun in the speedrunning community that is sort of lovingly or pejoratively known as the best/worst part of the game. It is called Run Run Roddy Tops. It takes place on the second island here, and it is an unskippable part of the game. It is effectively just a sort of mindless auto-scroller, but you have to take control over the character, and there's really no way to save time. There's only time loss potential there. And while the music is really cool, and I kind of like it mechanically, because you can't lose, you can't die or anything, it's still just a minimum 4-minute and 18-second just segment of the game. And that 4 minutes and 18 seconds is something that Turkey can do pretty consistently. I'm a lot closer to about 4 minutes 21 seconds consistently. So it's just the longest segment of the game.
Yeah, I've never timed this section to that accuracy, so I don't know how much time you've had on your hands.
I've had 4 minutes and 21 seconds of time on my hands.
Touche. Long story short, usually is if you're a speedrunner of this game, not a big fan of this section. Casual players love it, but as I say, each to their own. So as he has mentioned, this is pretty much this game's version of an auto-scroller. Not much you can read, and it's very minimal areas and spots that you can actually save a little bit of time here and there. If you take a hit at any point, as you notice at the top there, and the health bar's gone, you'll just get sent back to the beginning of the screen as you explode into just random particles. In terms of the story, Roddy Tops got caught by a spider. She claims she got bitten by it and has now lost the use of her legs. So she needs carrying. So this is literally one of the only few little bits where you can save a little bit of time by just cutting down the side of these tongues. It's a little bit tight, but has a little bit of room to work with. Nicely done all the way through. And as well as this quick back and shuffle here, which will manipulate the tongue underneath him, and he can actually just say about that. Other than that, we're now blocked up by Super Mario Bros. 3 spikes, and it's pretty much a waiting game throughout a lot of this. One of the other points I can talk about, but for the meantime, I will say if you've got any more donations admin you'd like to get through, and this will be a very good time to get through it.
And just a reminder, we are with the RPG Valkyries, raising money for Take This. If you've liked hanging out with us, we have a Discord, so drop !Discord in the chat, and you can get a link to come hang out with us, help volunteer and plan for future things, and just chill with us. All right, back to the runners.
Yeah, so still into just more space at the moment. There's a couple of different things in here. There's only one other real aspect that we need to have. We have a little bit of knowledge on for one particular room, which should be coming up next, which is known as these fake graves. So in the first room, there are only certain graves that have the possibility of standing up, but then there's no guarantee that they will. So we know which ones they are, so we'll always aim to jump over them, irregardless of whether they move or not, just as a safeguard. Every room after that, any of the fake graves will have the opportunity to be able to stand up and block us. So we just dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. See if he goes for something a little bit cheeky for verification. As he goes for a stake jump, of course he does. You make us proud as a runner, my man. So you should probably go. A stake jump is literally no point in terms of the speed run. It's just something we do. We've had long running in the community where if you don't do it, your run doesn't get verified. You're able to just jump in before the hitbox activates and jump right back out.
I don't like doing every single time I do it, my heart skips a beat. I expect every single time I do it to be, all right, this was the wrong time to do it. This was the wrong timing. So I'm very, very happy that I did it there.
Yeah, it's even better when you do it and then you try to jump out and it eats your input.
I've had that happen.
Just gets swiped.
Yeah.
It hurts. So we run away from the kissy bots, and they are actually kissy bots. They're literally chasing you, trying to kiss you. Don't ask. This forest is a thing for sure. So pretty much for probably about 3/4 of it, as we introduce the Stevens. These are Stevens that fire out mini Stevens. Why the Stevens? It's the only PG-friendly name we have, and I'll leave it at that.
So I don't know what their actual in-game name is called, but I just sort of mentally think of them as lampreys, because they kind of look like lampreys.
Not a clue. I don't even know either. The name of the Stevens came from a tournament we did by one of our other runners by the name Cabbage Game. He just came up with the name Stevens. That's what it was. To be fair. And he's got the Gates of Hell, which is a bit of RNG fortune. Final room. Everything's going to come at him at once. Hopefully he won't take a hit, because pretty much getting caught at the end of this room is a good 30+ second time loss. And that's the last thing Rocco's going to want. Other than that, this has been a clean section for you, mate, so don't drop the ball now.
And I deliberately didn't go for that spike skip there. But there is a way to skip that last cycle by timing moving through the tongue at the right moment. I don't trust myself lately doing it, so I just decided not to do it.
Fair enough. Better not to then to go for it and then getting caught. At that point, you're probably looking at about 20-25 second loss just from one simple thing. So we get to drop off Risky Boots. Risky Boots, sorry. Right, off the side of it. And it turns out, yeah, she lied.
She's fine.
She was just lazy. I hate her. Right, so as mentioned earlier, we got the squid on earlier, which we saved the backtracking for here, because otherwise you'd have to go all the way back to the first island to get it. Yeah, we can just go ahead and use it straight away, and one of Rotty's brothers, actually. So here's Wagon's now fixed with the power of squid oil alone and a hammer, as he'll take us back to the other side, and he will give us a little gift for our help with the shriveled thing.
This is the only unskippable text box in the game, letting us know that the shriveled thing smells.
Yeah, it's very important you know it smells. That's about as much as we figured out.
It also doesn't tell us what it smells like, so it doesn't necessarily have to smell like a bad thing. It could smell like the freshest morning coffee you've ever had, but we don't know. We just know that it smells.
I like coffee.
I do too.
Right, so second den of evil, the Cackled Tower. So, Cackled Tower is more of a vertical ascension. Yes, vertical. Normally you're supposed to go around and hit a number of switches, which will activate the air current after collecting this den's weapon, the Hat. We're going to be using a different out-of-bounds trick, using the food that we got from the beginning of the run, to do a food float. So it works exactly the same as doing a potion drop in terms of how we trigger it. However, once it's activated, the moment you hit the jump button, you fly. So this is where it gets a little awkward now, because he's now going to be able to try and catch us up into the loading zone without overshooting. Nicely done, and now he just pretty much just bypasses everything as we make our final ascension up to this boss, was Den of Evil's boss. So the Emperor Spider. So Emperor Spider, we get some vengeance for making us carry Rightos for a damn forest. This is probably the most technical fight we have in the run in terms of what we do. It's also one of the riskier fights. So what he's going to attempt to do, and hopefully it goes well for you, fingers crossed for you, because it's not the easy thing. He's going to effectively have a game of chicken with the Emperor Spider. He's going to start the fight jumping to the left with her and start the attacking. When he gets to the point of the last cannonball in the air, he's going to want to take damage at around about the same time that he deals damage. This is going to stun lock him in the air instead of knocking him down to the ground. As such, this will also regenerate his free cannon strikes, and as long as he can keep doing this repeatedly, he can stay in the air with her. The Super Pipe Ball also comes into play here, which helps to keep the Emperor Spider from shifting around the screen too much. So, keep everything locked in.
Ooh,
Nicely
okay.
done. Oh, look, that's a good fight.
I've had better fights, but I've mostly had worse fights, so I'm very happy with that one. This is the boss that I am the least proficient at, so I'm just glad I survived it.
Yeah, that was actually a decently executed one there, to be fair. There is even with it being done optimally, more times than not, what you'll end up finding is you'll end up having 1 point of health left, so it can get that tight to the point of the slightest mishap falling down and still going all out for it could lead you to lose your run. Right, so flare out as we make our way to our next island. Tanline. So Tanline, from this point on, this is where item management becomes important. So we know we've got 4 more bosses primarily throughout the run. We're looking to hit certain items. Monster Milks or Super Monster Milks for damage output on hair attacks. Pipe Balls and Super Pipe Balls, which, as shown with the Emperor Spider, gives you a shield of offense, as well as at least 1 bubble shield in order to use defensive, which is going to be for right at the end of the run. Depending on what items drop or how he chooses to farm, will determine how he's going to maneuver the rest of his run. And there's several different ways where he goes full RNG grind, where he uses some cast drop positions, or if he just goes with what he's given and figures it out from there. So at this point, how he runs the route item-wise is entirely up to the runner. So as we say, may the RNG be with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing some extra kills on enemies outside the island called the Scorpion Gals. They're also inside the next Den of Evil too, but I'm gonna be killing a few extras out here because they have a chance to drop some of the better items in the game. Although they could also just drop 5 gems. So I do want this to be as safe as possible. And it is a time loss each time you do it, but it is only a little time loss. So I'm perfectly willing to take it for the potential time gain of getting like a Super Monster Milk or a Super Pike Ball.
Yeah, Skull Gals in this game, they're guaranteed to drop something, but I think it's something like a 70% chance or a 78% chance of it being just 5 gems, and the rest is divided between Super Monster Milk, Super Pike Ball, 2 of the major items he wants. From the looks of it, he's probably going to go with what we call the hybrid grind, where it basically is you take out every Skull Gal en route as you're going forward, and that just gives you more odds and chances. Probably costs over 4 Skull Gals, probably about 16 to 18 seconds, I'd say. But if you get the bigger items that you're looking for, you're going to be able to save that time back. As we now have a little bit of a purple blocking, so this block you're not supposed to be able to destroy from underneath. But using a combination of the cannon, cannon into a quick cannon and pistol shot, you're able to actually be just under the block where the pistol bullet will just clip the block and destroy it. That allows us to skip what we call the stealth tempo. It's a good 5 minutes of the run, just eliminated right there.
Yeah, the temple that we skipped is actually my legitimate least favorite part of the game. Because if you get caught there, you actually get sent back to the start of it, in contrast to, like, Run Run Roddy Tops, where you just get sent back to the start of the room that you got hit in. So as a speedrunner, that one just annoys me a little more. So being able to skip it, very, very good.
Yeah, so it is a much more punishing section. You get caught at the end of that, I think it's like close to 2 minutes. Right, potion drop, just save a little bit of time here as we go into the next lockout room. So hopefully this is one of our last main rooms for the main drops we want. After this point, there are still plenty of other opportunities to get drops, but this is where he will need to start thinking about what he's got in his inventory, what he needs remaining, and how he's now going to route it. If he wants to continue to take certain enemies out, if he wants to get cash flows, or if he wants to grind specific enemies constantly in order to actually perform. So he's going to do a little thing here where he's actually going to count the wiggles of Shantae's say backside.
And
the aim of it was to you count that. It gives you a timing window in order to know when to start your shuffle and go back and forth to actually be able to make it past this crusher in one cycle. So a bit unfortunate there as we enter this this boss, and no milk drop. So this is going to be awkward. So This is Squid Baron. So Squid Baron is very much a scripted fight. So we know exactly what he's going to do at one point, but the aim is we want to have his first phase down before his eating phase. Unfortunately, when you have no milk drops, there is a risky strat there. It's possible, but one slight slip up is pretty much losing the cycle. So from this, it looks like he's going to get to eating phase, which will change the script a little bit. Pretty much, we still know what the scripts are going to be. It just means there's going to be less of a DPS advantage that we can take. Because we wanted that on. If we had that on phase 2, we could just start beating into him straight away in phase 2, and that'll make this phase a bit quicker. So he's going to start with having his armor on. So what we would have wanted to do was a bit of a delay, but now he's just going to crack it straight open as we've already lost the cycle. And now we're going to follow with his pathway again. So he's going to go to charges, into triple stomps. And we're just going to follow him as best as we can. And he'll likely probably get his armor back on before this fight is done. We'll just go straight back in. Oh. There we go. Straight into eating phase. And there we go.
Whew, yeah. In all of the practices that I've done, I haven't had to deal with a milkless Squid Baron. It's been a while since I've done that, so... thankfully, one of the nice things about knowing his script is even without, like, the good items or anything like that, you can still kind of figure it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, look, I feel like I'm failing you at the moment. You know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, so a nice little running joke is that when I'm speedrunning this and Turkey pops into my chat or anything like that, I just almost instantly get like a really beneficial drop item from the things. So I think since he's been here the whole time, that's what's interfering with it. So
I'm just gonna stick with the curse is broken. Alright, so just a small little diversion here. A couple of items we picked up early. We need to come and speak to Bolo, he's pretty much the game's village idiot, but give him a pair of X-ray specs. He's quite an intelligent man and deciphers the fossil that we got earlier in the run to be the Death Mask. So Death Mask is what we need to enter the Village of Lost Souls, which is is on the next island that we're going to enter. So we had to come here first anyway to get that sorted. At this point, Rocco's going to get at least 4 flares minimum. That will be the remainder flares for his route. And then any change he has left, he'll use, dependent on how his items are. I didn't quite see what he picked up there, but I'm going to hope you at least got a milk.
I grabbed a milk. I thought about getting 2 bubble shields, because I'm going to end up killing all these beetles and so on for a chance at a milk, but I really don't want to just do a regular pike ball dagger on either. So, get the milk just for that.
Yeah, just as I said, at least if you do get it from the beetles, you should be okay. It'll just give you that extra buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the beetles again, that's another enemy we know have a small window to give us some like a monster milk drop. They can drop a food item, or they could even drop a pirate flare, which interesting when we ever see them. But given, unfortunately, he's getting a bit of bad luck in terms of the item drops, and he's choosing to keep things moving forward. So again, because of that, it's now deciding whether or not he's going to take any more enemy kills, which he's trying to go for milk drops. As it's not working out, he'll probably take some cash flow aspects just to back himself up. There are enemies later on that he can use, but if they go wrong and he doesn't back up the cash, he could be in a very bad position when it comes to later fights. So we'll see what he chooses to go for as we go into the Village of Lost Souls. So this is pretty much, well, the hell, I guess is the only way I can really put it. As we make our way to get 3 coins for probably the most skillful part of the run. Oh, interesting. Alright, so the Mirage had spares, so that was an animation skip. Don't see it very often in 80% jammer runs. We usually need the food for out of bounds tricks, but what it ends up doing is it ends up bypassing the animation of the item collection and replaces it with the food or potion that you consume, effectively eliminating a 6-second collection down to closer to 3. So it saves a little bit of time. You lose a little bit from having to do extra menuing, but you're still on average saving about 2 seconds a pop.
Yeah, I figured I had the food, might as well.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Just be careful of the Reapers. One more coin to go. And just hitting some cash on route. So the cash is primarily getting, if you get something on route, it's about 100 gems for 10 seconds. So it's a good amount of money for to pick up at least a couple of items for not the worst amount of time. Considering most gem pots hold about 10 gems, I believe, so it's like a second per pot, which is still nice. And use the lamp to absorb those gems in. Save gem to actually actively collect them, which is always good as well. And just spend a little bit of time here just to get a few more gems just to cover what he needs.
And then try to gingerly make it through that room. That is my least favorite room in the whole game, and it just happens to be the best place to gem grind.
Yeah, about 6 seconds of back and forth, I believe. Alright, so here comes the most skillful part of the game. Heads or tails? So, yeah, this is pretty much RNG. Sorry to deceive everyone like that.
What is happening? There we go.
I don't know how many times you got tails on the first one there, but there is at least a fail-safe on this part. So
oh, I got to the mercy rule. It was tails, 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 and then heads, heads, heads.
Oh. In which case, then that's probably the best of the worst you can deal with.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you're going to fail having all of them on the first game, as nice, that's what we know is 6 rounds out of 12. So it is possible that you get to the red game and it gives you a fail on every time. But once you fail 3 times, the 4th one is a guaranteed win no matter what you select. So at least you won't be stuck there forever. As this mysterious man gives us this manly musk, because you're not allowed to smell, you know, all nice and beautiful and pretty trying to get into this next dungeon. You have to be a dirty, dirty old man.
I also learned recently, and possibly even relearned it, I don't know, but that silhouetted figure there is supposed to be a reference to an NES game called Karnov, which is not a game that I'm familiar with, but I read that recently on, like, the Shantae wiki.
Never heard of that one myself. But then again, I don't even know what the game was you just said. Very oblivious here. Right.
Oubliette of suffering.
Oubliette of suffering, indeed. So, there are not going to be as much suffering as you think, actually. Oubliette is quite a sizable dungeon. This is where you traditionally pick up the risky boots. The whole aspect of the dungeon, you're supposed to align these elevators as you go through the dungeon in order to make your way to the boss. But because of the risky shuffle, which we've been using throughout the course of this run, we could just forget about that and just do the shuffle and go straight to the boss. So about 80% of what this dungeon has to offer, job. Then we enter Dagron. So Dagron is probably one of the easier fights technically, but it's also one of the ones that you can get caught off guard. General rules with him is he will speed up the more damage he takes. He just swoops in from each side of the screen and goes off. As if you get hit in the end portion of the fight, you'd like to get 2 hits, which is about 3/4 of your health. However, we also know that in every round of 3 swoops he does, one of them will be short. So depends on what he does. So in this case, he's done short first. So the next 2 rounds are going to be long. So he's going to keep wide, ready for him, and then go on the offense for the next 2 rounds. Count a certain amount of hair whips, around 9, I believe, 8 or 9 optimal. And then we can try and get some ascension damage with him. As we got that round of 3 down, we now reset the round of 3 and see what he wants to do. And hopefully he should be down on this one.
Always one hit off.
Always one. Alright, well, just got a little bit of exit time for the moment, so I believe...
yeah, if there's anything that you want to read off, go for it.
Yeah, just a reminder, we are here for Speedrun Ragnarok 2024. Today is the last day of the marathon, so get your donations in. In about 25 to 30 minutes, we'll have Backpack Hero coming up, so this is close to the last call to get donations in for that costume incentive. And so far, I've got no donations to read, but I would love some donations to read if you've got them. So go for it. So if you've got anything, give us money. Go for it. Support Take This. It's a good cause. Supports mental health and video games. And yeah, that's all I got.
Fair enough. Right, so what we got at the end of there, you may know, is we got a rock doll which has a funky fresh mustache. Who knows souls better than the dead? So maybe we'll have a visit to an unnamed certain someone who I will not talk about. But for now, we will come back to that as we get to Frostbite Island. So this is one of the final islands of the game. I'm gonna guess he's probably gonna go for wolf kills in this. Wolf kills he can get quite easily, but it's even lower chances, but has good chances of higher strength items. Takes out the Barney. I'm proud of you. So wolves have a chance, just like the Scorp Girls, they have a chance of super monster mills, super pipe balls, or 5 gems, as well as single gems in this case. However, none of it's guaranteed. It could just be nothing. And the chances of monster milks and pipe balls are somewhat like, I believe it's somewhat like 3% for a super pipe ball, 1% for a super milk, or something like that. They're very low odds of getting the drops, but if they happen, like that, there you go.
That's huge.
My presence has finally helped you. Hallelujah. So yeah, with that in play, that's going to eliminate a couple of items, and with the cash he's got in play, he can now reroute any other optional pickups that may help him for the remaining sets of fights, which he should be able to set up before he enters any remaining boss fights. So that should do you nicely. As we climb up away from the snowy, icy areas of Frostbites to, I mean, I don't know how weather works, but you know, the further up you go, the warmer it gets. As it's now nice and clear and sunny. So welcome to Propeller Town. So we're going to be pretty much skipping most of Propeller Town using the food float once again. Fortunately, this is one of the ones that has probably one of the more forgiving loading screens in order to get yourself back in bounds. But you can never be too cautious. Once again, if you go too far out with food flying you all the way up, you could basically soft lock the run. So nice and in. A bit of story, we've been missing. Ammo Baron's working with the Techno Baron to create a module to set off a cannon to help him take over Scuttletown. Turns out Techno Baron's new apprentice is none other than Bolo.
And
nothing could go wrong.
Rather importantly, we'll worship the idiot.
Worship the Bolo! Worship him! Yeah. You got it. I wasn't sure if you was going to, that's why I didn't want to say anything at the time. I probably look like an idiot if I said words. Maybe you look at Welsh like mama language. I just came out of there. Sorry, got off track. My apologies there. So yeah, as I mentioned, turns out who's better to dead than zombies. So we're gonna go speak to Rollytops and Co and see who this soul belongs to. If we know who this soul belongs to. As it turns out, it is the spirit of Joe. Who's Joe? Well, you won't know, he skipped him. We left poor Joe alone. So, Joe's a character that would normally die earlier in the story if we would have done a no out of bounds run. But because we skipped that part, he kind of died off screen.
Yeah, Joe is a character that was introduced in the second Shantae game, and makes another appearance here as one of Ammo Baron's minions. And then has the tragic misfortune of 2 really awful things happening back to back. The second thing is he dies, and the first thing is he becomes Sky's boyfriend. I mean, you gotta feel for the guy.
Well, you don't need to worry too much when you got parents like Sky's. I mean, not every day your parents come and save you with a sarcophagus with a cursed petrification spell. Oh, hey, Bronson.
Also, let's say hi to Legally Distinct from He-Man.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to change back either, for the last I know. So he's going to be stuck like this forever. So pretty much what he's doing here, he's just having to do a little bit of a side, well, it's a bit of progression. He's got to retrieve Emma Baron's team back to in order to actually progress the story. So that's why we needed both to get Prison Vinegar set up with the enchanted blade we got earlier, and with Joe's soul right now, we can return it to him as we restore their relationship, and he decides there's plenty more fish in the sea, and he just walks out. I mean, I can't say I blame him, but a bit mean.
In my head, Barracuda Joe sounds a lot like Scruffy the janitor from Futurama. It just that's my head canon. I actually mean that complimentary too. Like, that's a good voice.
Probably is. I'm going to hear that now for the rest of the turn. So. Alright, so we've all had done. We gave the module over, and it turns out Bolo not as bright as we thought. Of course he's not. He's a village idiot. The target module was targeted the wrong place, which actually gives us access to our final den of evil. So we're going to go make our way there and deal with RNG the boss. Just final bits of shop, so now everything that Rocco will want for the duration of the run now, he is all set and ready to go. And it's just a case of just do it.
I'm going to kill Barney for luck, though. There we go.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm here. You got to kill Barney.
Yeah. So at some point in the past, all of the wolves had been given names by a member of the community, and I think everybody's sort of forgotten all of them except Barney.
Yeah, that's kind of my fault. He named the first one Barney, and I just thought of Barney the dinosaur and just anger. ever since then, I've took him out. Don't know why.
Very fair. Very fair.
Alright, so this is a bit of a different out of bounds here. So this is one of the elements where we're going to use 2 items in order to perform this trick. So using the food to first fly up, and then he's going to start making his way across. He's going to trigger the potion whilst in the air. This is going to change his state from food float to potion drop. So he's now currently falling back down the screen. And
somehow did not hear the dash thing. So that was a little scary at the end there. I'm surprised I didn't hear it, because I was moving far enough for it to have triggered.
I mean, at least you didn't miss the zone, so you're safe. Right, so this is RNG the boss. So Steel Maggot, basically, there's 3 buttons on his back. Hit them in order. We don't know what the order is. You'll just have to figure it out. And after each 3-button combination, you start the attack, and then this pattern resets. And then you've got to refigure it out again. So the advantage of having the bubble shield here is that we can actually figure out the code much quicker than intended by being able to land to the ground and reset our cannons, whilst also not taking damage from the bullets, which will do half of our health remaining to actually to us. But normally with the odds we have, especially using 2 strongest, 2 rounds and he's down. Not too bad there, not too bad. The RNG seems to be relatively harmless. Okay, so we are coming to the end. So we're probably only about 3 to 3.5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes max. We just have one more final stretch to perform. But first, all the Den of Evils are down, so we believe we've locked out all of the Pirate Master's energy. However, a bit of eeriness around and about, we're not too sure. So we're going to pay a visit to the Lonely Grave, which is the site of the Pirate Master, of where he was buried.
Also, story-wise, just to interrupt, the Pirate Master is angry at Risky partially for turning him into her costume. So if you actually look at her costume, she's wearing his eyes and lower jaw. And that, I never caught that the first few times I played this, and it took a while for me to really get that. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I believe he does mention something about Risky taking his face as her attire.
Yeah. It's
quite dark for a Shantae game, to be fair. But yeah, it turns out the plan didn't work. He's back, and yeah, he wants his face back, but more or less he wants the world back. So he's come back to take over. We can't have that. So we gotta go stop him. One more stretch as we return back to Scottown to find out it has been taken over. That didn't take him long, to be fair. You can see why he was feared. So this is pretty much just a mad dash to the back to the Royal Tower, which has now become the Pirate Master's tower. So this would usually be in a casual playthrough, pretty much a test of all your equipment knowledge and know-how in order to be able to progress through the Pirate Master trials. Fortunately, this is out of bounds, so we're just gonna fly. But just as a random tidbit of information, even in no out of bounds, there is a means to get past without actually needing to do the trials as well. So either way, we don't have to do the trials. This is also, for whatever reason, one of the only loading zones where you don't need the risky dash in order to trigger the out of bounds. You can just walk into the zone and it will trigger. I don't know as to why that is, though. I'll just go a little quiet, just make sure it's a zone.
All right.
And we're good. So all that's left is the Pirate Master. So Pirate Master is only going to be one phase of, as we're doing general ascent. Time will be on the final hit. We'll call out as best as I can. So Pirate Master is not as dangerous as he seems. However, we do want the bubble shield because he will do some projectiles which will one-shot us if we don't have the bubbles. So he's going to start off with doing a few teleports. He'll go to either side, and then he can have a chance to go to the far side or to the center. So we want him to go to the center so we can keep up damage. So good RNG so far. Hopefully he goes to center for number 4. He goes to the side. So after 4, he will go side to side with projectiles firing. Returns back to the center, and then we'll have the pedestal phase. So at this point, we're just hoping that which one he goes on to is swaying in good time so we can score some good damage up and around.
And I got hugged, so that's fun. Pirate Master hugs, very lethal.
Any second now. So
and time.
And that's it. Pirate Master down. Well said.
And he just explodes a lot.
But he's fine. Is that all you got? That's what he usually says. No, never mind. He's out of here. That's pretty much Postgres.
So Shantae and the Pirate's Curse actually has multiple endings depending on whether or not you collect all of the dark magics as well. That's another category to get the true Pirate Master fight and ending where Shantae actually gets her magic restored. But, you know, for any percent, we don't do that. We get sort of what is canonically the kind of bad ending. So there is another ending that shows that off, and then continues the story into the, 4th game, 5th game, and so on, where she has her powers back. But that is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Any percent pirate mode, out of bounds. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much to the Valkyries for letting this in and letting me run it. I had a blast, and thank you so much to Turkey for the wonderful commentary. Turkey is without a doubt probably the best runner at this game and knows the most about it. So thank you so much for joining me for this.
No problem, sir. As always, my services to you. Long and free.
But yeah, thank you all so much for having me, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the Speedrun Ragnarok Marathon and a wonderful rest of your day.
All right. And for Possum, for me, this is my last hosting gig of the whole thing, so thank you so much for listening to me talk on microphone. I appreciated being here.